Happy Tuesday, ninjas. What's going on? Bryan, let's start with you. How are you?
What's happening, man?
Tell me something good, man. I want to hear some success this morning.
Well, I won yesterday. Um, One legger, sold him for like 22K. But wanted to talk with his wife, which she was going to be home by about 9 p.m. And then, of course, she wanted to get some other estimates. But I got kind of a funny story. Um, just to start off the morning here. So I got a new truck last week for work, and I only had two calls that day, an 8 a.m. and an 8 p.m. So in between, went and got the new truck all washed up, got the windows tinted, got a call out in Taylorsville, North Carolina. It was like a 2 hour drive. And I get there, man, and so for about a half mile I'm driving on, I can't even call it a gravel road. It was like a four-wheeler path. And then that path came to an end and it became just like two tracks through grass for another quarter mile. I was like, man, this is some hills have eyes kind of stuff right here. This is a little sketchy. Uh, Pull up and there's like 20 dogs that are vicious as all get out. I mean, lips curling, teeth showing, barking at me. Uh, Elderly man in his 80s comes out with a taser. Thing's about a foot and a half long. And he's sitting there like tasing at the dogs to keep them away from me. I'm, I'm like, all right, I just got to get inside. I'll be good. Well, I get inside and same thing, 20 more dogs doing the same thing. The smell of urine burning my nose is horrible. Lady just straight up tells me, she's like, I got no money, no credit. I was like, all right, good, because I got no tolerance to be in here. Um, so I walk back out. He's leading me with his taser there, get in the truck, start driving away like 10, 15 miles an hour. And there's three of the dogs chasing after me, biting my truck, like the little step to get into the bed of the pickup. Literally, I got tooth marks on the bed of my brand new pickup truck.
God.
Man, that was one of the most oddball situations I've been in a while. I guess that's a success story in the sense of I still have my life when I left.
You got out of there without getting bit, man.
Man, it was wild.
So, let's go back to your call. What did they buy for 22 thou?
So hang on one sec, sorry. So it was I'm seeing my
And did they
notebook.
buy or have they not bought yet?
So he bought to the point of I got him approved on credit.
Yep.
And then I had a bunch of other paperwork to do, and he before he signed the last piece of paperwork, he was like, "All right, let me check with my wife." So it was 22,168. Um, this was a two and a half, going from 2.5 ton furnace AC to a 3 ton because he put a little addition on, adding a supply, adding a return, new refrigerant lines up the side of the house, media filter. Um, 16 SEER, two-stage AC with a two-stage 80% furnace with a variable speed.
When you got to the call, did you have any idea that it was going to be a one-legger?
I did not actually. Is primarily like a Spanish-speaking customer, so there's a bit
Right?
of a language barrier, but we were able to communicate well enough to where, I was able to pitch to him pretty well. He never indicated anything about, um, uh, other decision maker.
Got it. Were there signs that there were more than just him that lived there?
Not really. The house was real weird. It's very empty for the most part, right? Because I'm always looking around for those cues, pictures, little shoes, because I know for me personally, my kids get sick the first 2 weeks of school every year. So when I'm seeing little shoes, I'm selling air purification every time, right?
Sure.
So I'm always looking for those cues, and there was really nothing to pick up on. So
So there wasn't. So I'm taking it then that there was no point at which you were like, hey, is there anybody else whose opinion matters enough to you to involve them in this conversation?
Right, right. The only thing that he had mentioned was about another guy that this is actually kind of comical. Another guy that was trying to fix his unit, which was 28 years old, and it was an old train, and he had the old Rotolock compressor sitting right next to it with a new scroll compressor installed in it. And I was like, "Yeah, that didn't work so well, did it?" He said, "For about a day."
Yeah.
Like,
Can
well,
can you think of a good reason? Because I'm just thinking about future. Can you think of a good reason to not ask that question every time?
no, and usually I do, right? Like, is there anybody else that you'd like to be part of this decision-making process or that should be here? Because it's a lot of information. For you to try to be able to cover it all yourself is a lot. I wouldn't expect anybody else to be able to do it. So is there anybody else you'd like present for this? Again, this call was just kind of a little different right out the gate.
Sure. So that's normally kind of like a cardinal rule, right?
Yeah.
In sales that we want to ask, is there anybody else whose opinion matters enough to you to involve them in this conversation? Now, think of the difference. What's the difference between the way that you're saying it and the way that I'm saying it? Go ahead and say it the way that you say it.
As far as if there's any other decision makers?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that you would like present for all of this? Because it is a lot of information. So when it comes to the decision-making process, I want to make sure everybody's on board with everything and understands what all's involved here.
Dana, could you share with me the difference between what Bryan's saying and what I'm saying? You just heard him say that, and you know what I say. Could you share the difference from your perspective?
Well, you say it as, is there anyone who else's opinion is important enough to keep involved in this situation, right? That's
Yeah.
Conversation.
what was that, Gene?
Conversation.
In this conversation.
Yeah,
So
when we start talking about decisions, does stress go up?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Right? So that's a word that I would particularly like to eliminate. So and you're talking about a lot of information and it's kind of raising the stress. I'm just trying to figure out, is there anybody else that whose opinion matters enough to you to involve them in this conversation? What's the difference between what I'm saying?
Not putting any stress on them with those, decision and a lot of information and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Anything else that you guys see?
I'm sure you're gonna tell me, but I'm not sure where we're getting at.
Just that it's a conversation.
Sure, a conversation's definitely different than what we're talking. It feels different, right?
Yeah.
Anything else that you see there? Am I assuming that he can't make the decision?
Uh, are you kind of like, I don't know the right word for this, but almost like questioning their authority, like no, I can make this decision. I can make this decision because I've done that before.
The inverse, actually, is think about this. Is there anybody else whose opinion matters enough to you to involve them in this conversation? I'm not saying they can't make the decision. And if I suggest that they might not be able to make the decision, there are some guys out there that'll what?
They're gonna be like, oh, I don't need my wife. Like I got
Yeah.
this.
They'll puff their chest out.
Exactly.
Right?
I call the shots around here.
Right, exactly. So I'm not assuming that they can't make the decision. I'm asking them as the primary decision maker, look, is there anybody else whose opinion matters enough to you to involve them in this conversation? Right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they can go ahead and make the decision, and I'm giving them the access and the doorway to go ahead and bring that other person into the conversation. Even if we can't get them there, at least now I know, okay, there is going to be a second person involved in this. It's going to be a lot harder for me to close it if I'm doing it without them. Why don't I make this a 2-call close, come back, and get
Yeah.
with both of them at the same time? Because if there's two people involved, am I going to have to pitch twice?
Yeah.
Right? So Um, and if there's not going to be a way for me to have that conversation and I can get them on the phone, any tips that you guys would give any newcomers about how to handle that?
And to just throw another little wrench in the plans there. So the wife does not speak any English whatsoever.
Well, that makes it easier. Do you have Spanish speaking people at your company?
Yeah, my assistant sales manager speaks Spanish.
Sweet. And have you practiced at all with any of the apps or translation stuff?
Yeah, I've used the Translate app on the
How's it
iPhone.
work?
It works pretty well actually, because you can actually do conversation mode where you just kind of talk back and forth, and it texts it out. So
I also heard that that with the new AirPods that it'll translate from one
uh,
language to another for you.
yeah, I've heard that too. I got to check into that.
Yeah, I left my AirPods out on my table last night. It started to rain. I might have to buy a new pair. So, they're sitting in rice right now because I'm cheap. So, shoot, what was I getting at there? What was the question I asked you?
About the other decision maker, um,
And
about
then two call closes.
yeah, and that's what I might do today is call them up today and say, hey, is there a good time that'll work out for me to come back when you're both available so we can cover anything she may have questions on.
Now let's assume let's assume that you were able to get back in the door before they were getting other quotes, and they told you that they wanted to get other quotes while they were in the house. How would you handle that?
Well, what are you looking for in another quote?
Oh, I have made snap decisions in the past, lived to regret it. Right? We always want to make sure that we're keeping people honest and we're not getting ripped off.
Yeah, certainly. I'm pretty similar in that sense. Uh, do you feel comfortable about everything that we've covered, how we operate, the way we do things,
Oh
and
yeah,
all that? You feel good with that?
yep. And you were
Um,
great.
awesome. Appreciate that. You feel good with the monthly payment that we came in at?
Well, it'd always be better if it was cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what wouldn't be, right? But so if you're comfortable with everything, um, let me just remind you that we do have this 100% money back guarantee that you weren't satisfied for any reason in the first year. Yeah, you can turn it in and get your money back. That's not the point of this, but that's just showing you how confident we are that you're going to be satisfied with everything that we're going to do for you. And you did state that we checked every single box on your list, correct?
For sure.
So it's just a price thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to compare it to. I've never purchased another heating and air conditioning system before.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we did look at three different options. You liked option A. Um, now, if it's a cost thing, we could always look down at option C. It's not, the top of the line system that you had initially chose, but
Bryan, when I
what,
go out and get quotes, what am I going to find? I'm not
what
into
do you
wasting a whole lot of time and stuff, right? So if I go out and get other quotes, what am I going to see?
You're going to see cheaper prices, but you're also not going to see the value.
Well, why are your prices so high? I'm literally laying it up for you. I'm Scotty
Yeah,
Pippening for you.
the value that's behind it, what all we provide with our services.
It's too vague for me, Bryan.
For example, you said the other guys couldn't get here until Friday to give you an estimate. Is that correct?
Yeah, they must
And
be in really high demand.
I was going to say, was that your choice or theirs?
Oh, it's theirs.
Theirs.
They're super
So,
busy. They said they're in really high demand right now.
really? So it's going to take them 5 days to get out here to give you a quote. What do you suppose is going to happen if the system breaks down on you? How long do you think it's going to take them to get out here to make that repair for you?
Well, I don't know what their service schedule is like. I just know that their salespeople are really busy right now.
Yeah. From what I've seen, it takes longer to get a service guy than a sales guy out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, Not talking down on any company because I would never do that. I just like things laid out and put into perspective for you.
Why don't we give them
From
a
what
call
I've
right now
seen.
and see how long it would take for them to get out on a service call?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right? What else? What else could you say to me?
um, as far as getting other quotes.
Yeah.
So a route that I have went is, I completely understand. I'm actually, the one in my family who everybody else calls when they have a contractor at their home, they need some work done.
Right.
Um, Mainly my stepmother, for example, right? She wants to make sure she's not getting taken advantage of or anything. So I'm always the one she calls. And when she does, really ask her just a couple of questions. Do you feel comfortable with the company that's in your home right now?
Okay.
Uh, do you see the value that they're providing? Do you like everything that they're talking about, what they're going to do? And can you afford it? Like, does it fit within your budget? Do you feel comfortable about that decision? And if she's telling me yes to all these questions, then I tell her go for it because there's nothing else that you're really looking for.
Got it. Could you define value for me?
You got me on this once. Um, uh, so it's
It's one of
seeing,
those words that's hard to get out of our language once we were
yeah,
using it a lot, right?
yeah, you know what it is, but the actual definition of it's pretty tricky.
Bryan, hold that thought. Think about it for a second. Xavier, unmute yourself, please.
Yes, sir.
Define value for me.
So I was actually just listening to the YouTube Q&A on this a few days ago while I was mowing the lawn where you tricked him up about it. And yeah, so I actually heard that. Um, Value to me is everything that the company provides that helps benefit the client. But like you said on that Q&A, your normal day-to-day person isn't going to understand the true definition of value. So you really have to lay it out for them with the features and benefits of all the values that they're getting.
So Xavier, if I said to you, look, I'm gonna need to get some other quotes. You've done a great job. I'm 90% sure we're gonna go with you. I just want to keep you guys honest and everything. I got to get some other quotes. I always get 3 quotes. Mama said.
So at that point, I would also ask them, what else are you looking for? And if they say that they're looking for a cheaper price, then I'll ask, uh, or yeah, I'll ask them, um, would you like to know why people tend to go with us, even though the cost does tend to be a little bit higher with us?
Please.
And and then I'll just start going through all the features and benefits, which I don't have very many of them memorized yet. I was actually listening to one of the Facebook videos yesterday, just on repeat of a lot of them, trying to refresh my mind, get them locked in. But I'll just start spewing off that list. And I want to say on that same video, I think it was Eric, that he was saying that he just literally just fires them out until the client tells him to stop, until the client cuts them off. And I thought that was pretty funny because I'm like, yeah, that works. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it now. I see all those things that you guys offer, that I understand why the price is what it is and why people tend to go with you, even though the price is a little bit higher.
It's almost like magic. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that it's usually somewhere between 8 to 12 features and benefits that I spit out. That's usually where they stop me. I've got 25, 30 of them. I can tell you, excuse me, I can tell you that I've never been able to get through all of them and have them not buy. So what I mean is, like, if I get through 25 of these suckers, they buy or they stop me beforehand. And that's the experience that I have when I'm talking to the guys that end up getting certified, is that 8, 10, 12 features and benefits, I usually stop them and go, hey, I see the difference. Let's just go ahead and with you. Do you think that people like coming? Do you think people like having people come in and out of their houses, crawling across their attics, their crawl spaces, looking at their valuables? Do you think that they want to have 10 or 12 quotes? Or do you think that they're so fucking scared of making a decision that they have to?
I think
I
that
think
people don't like it.
Yeah,
Some
I
of them
don't.
seem to love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like some old people love to talk and they want everyone in their home.
yeah. Well, that could be the case on occasion. It could be the case, and it's at the same time. I think that they would rather spend time with people that they're enjoying themselves around.
Hmm.
Right. Um, those once you got through the let's say that you got through those features and benefits, Xavier. Let's say that you got through 12 of them and you forgot all the rest, but you're getting some head shaking with the client. You can see that you're tapped into their subconscious, that you've got nonverbal rapport. You get to 12 and you're like a deer in the headlights, you're blank. What are you going to do?
I'll ask them, is there any other reason to not go with us? Is there anything else that makes you feel uncomfortable about making this decision to move forward?
Bring in herd and pack mentality for me.
So then I'll ask them, so do you see why all of our other clients tend to go with us instead of another client or another contractor,
Regardless of,
regardless of price?
yeah. Can you see now why more people choose fifth generation for this type of work, regardless of any difference in price?
Hmm.
Right. Um, you end it very similarly to how you start it. Would you like to know why more people choose fifth for this type of work, regardless of any difference in price? Yes. Features and benefit, features and benefit, features and benefit, and then boom, trial close. Can you see now why more people choose us for this type of work, regardless of any difference in price? And if they say yes, what am I going to do?
So how do you feel about the money?
Nope.
Sign here.
Open.
I'm gonna go ahead and close, right?
Okay.
If they told me they can see why we're more money and why other people use us, regardless of any difference in price, I'm closing.
Okay.
And Xavier, you want to hear my favorite close?
I'd love to hear it.
Tens of millions of dollars with this closed. You ready? It's magic, guys, and it's super, super complicated. And you want me to take care of it for you. And you want me to take care of it for you.
Hmm.
It's an assumptive, right? And you want me to take care of it for you. I'm telling you guys, I cannot tell you how many freaking tens of millions have been closed with that. It's so, so easy. And you want me to take care of it for you. Just assume it. Assume the sale. At this stage of the game, they've told you, God, now I know why you're more money, right? And they'll let you know if they can't afford it at that stage of the game. But 85% of the people buy based on perceived, what's the word? Starts with the V.
Value.
Value, perceived value. Value in this scenario is I'm getting more for my money than I'm going to get from somewhere else. Value is getting more for less, isn't it? Even if it's just perceived. And that's my own definition. I didn't check with Webster for that. Xavier, can you give me 5 reasons, 5 features and benefits of doing business with Fifth?
So, did you know that we have our own in-house training programs? So this helps keep our costs low, so then we can also pass it on to our clients, and we also get the job done efficiently. Um, we're local and we're family owned. So when you call us, you're not going to get a call center, in California or even worse, India. Um, we service thousands of homes a year, so we're familiar with all the local codes, all the local building standards. Your home is not going to be a training program, and we're going to get this job done right the very first time. We do have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so it is quite literally impossible to waste any of your money with us. So we guarantee the job's going to get done right, and you are going to be satisfied. Um, all of our technicians, we're all background checked. So were you aware that HVAC, plumbing, electrical, they're one of the top trades that are taught in prisons nowadays? So we want to make sure that your family, your possessions, everyone and everything in your home remains safe and stays there. And so all of our technicians have gone through that check to make sure no bad things happen. I think that was 5, maybe 6.
Are you saying that only people who've been to prison do bad things?
That is not true. That is not what I'm saying.
I did pull that one out the other day though, and that really caught their attention.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I did. I said, were you aware that heating and air is the #1 trade that they teach in all the prisons? So these guys getting out of prison, the only thing they have to do is to get into heating and air. That's not the type of people we hire. I've got it all right here. It's part of my presentation. And she soaked that up. It almost scared her into buying
Yeah.
from us.
Well, look, and this, it's so funny that you point that out. There is a lot to do with creating fear of making the wrong decision when it comes to sales.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of why features and benefits works so well, right? We're talking about what we do, but the assumption is that when they go with somebody else, what?
Make the wrong decision.
They don't get that stuff, right? When I say we prioritize our warranty calls, most companies run warranty calls only Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But when you do business with Fifth, you actually get a speed pass to the front of the line, and you get service right away, right? The implication is that they're not going to be able to get that stuff from other people. That's what the brain starts to think. Super, super important to get that. And then the other thing that's super important, Xavier, and you did a good job on 4 out of the 5 of those. What I missed in one of them, and I don't remember which one it was. What was the second feature and benefit you gave me?
The second one was probably we service thousands of homes.
I think it was something about a call center.
We're local, family owned and operated. I think I kind of blended 2 of them together.
Yeah. What happened was I got the feature, but I didn't get the benefit.
Oh, right. Yeah,
So,
I didn't say, you talk to a person, that can help answer your questions, all that.
you remember last week when I was talking about how we are meaning-making machines?
Mm-hmm.
Something happens in our life, and then we tell ourselves a story about it. It's not just about bad stuff, right? If you give a feature to a client and not the benefit, what are they left to figure out?
What am I getting out of this?
Yeah, why do I care? What does it mean? So what? Who cares what's in it for me? So when you give the feature a transitional phrase that you can use to switch into the benefit is which means.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're locally owned and operated, which means that you get personalized service and accountability, and you talk with local people, not a phone room in California or worse, India.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So which means is how a lot of times you can turn that so that the client's like, oh, okay, so that's what that means to me. I don't care that you've been in 5,000 homes this year. I don't give a shit. Right? Until I find out that means that we know the codes, the climates better than just about anybody. We know the construction of the homes in the area. We know what works and what doesn't. Your job's not going to be a testing ground or a training lab. It's going to get done right the first time, which is going to save you time and money. What's the benefit?
You're saving time and money.
That's right. And for those of you who haven't been around the program long enough, if you've got something to write with, write this down. CHEMIST. Anybody ever heard of an acronym? What's an acronym?
Letters that stand for like a sentence, essentially.
Or words, right? Fear, false evidence appearing real. You guys have heard that one before, right? So CHEMIST actually is the acronym that we would use to go back to what is the hot button that we need to hit with the benefit. Okay? So C is going to stand for comfort. Right? We can bring a benefit back to comfort. H, what do you suppose H stands for? Think indoor air quality, water treatment.
Health.
Yes, health. E, think tree hugger.
Energy efficiency.
Environment.
Environment. M. What's the most important thing to a lot of people?
Money.
Money. I, what does I stand for? Take a guess. What do people hate when you waste something of theirs? Oh, that person just wasted my
time, but that doesn't start with an I.
Time's going to be the last one. I was trying to give you the clue. Like when somebody wastes my time, it's really inconvenient for me, right?
Okay.
If I've got to stay home from work because the shit keeps breaking down, that's inconvenient. So inconvenience or convenience is what the hot button's going to come back to. What do you think S starts for? Think of a seatbelt.
Safety.
Safety. And then the last one, of course, is time. So we've got comfort, health, environment, money, inconvenience, safety, or time. These are things that people get emotional about. And what is a hot button?
Emotional.
Yeah, it's something that people get emotional about. We want them to be making an emotional decision. We want to tap into the emotional reasons, right? The things that get people emotional, that's what gets them to move. And people will spend more money when they're operating off of emotion. And mainly because, again, they're assuming that they don't get this stuff with somebody else, right? Super, super, super important. I think the ones that I have found to be the most effective would be health, money, time, and comfort. I don't focus on environment a ton unless I know they're a tree hugger. If I see a Prius or an electric car or something like that out there, I mean, you can tell, right? But all of the features and benefits that I've given you come back to one of these 7 hot buttons. Make sense? Of course it does. So that's where I'm looking for you to be going, Bryan, in the futures with these features and benefits. Xavier, I'm impressed that you got these so quickly. You are showing some real signs of promise very, very fast. Congratulations on passing your first video as well.
Thank you.
You very well may be. I think it might be a race between you and Bryan, but you may very well be the next certified ninja in this program. You're picking it up fast.
I think Brian's going to give me a run for my money.
I'm hoping he does.
Yeah, I'm working on. It seems like we're finally slowing down. So once I start investing some time, it's game over.
I think it would be a good idea for the two of you to kind of pair up.
Yeah.
And, maybe even do some role play together and stuff like that. And really kind of, it helps when you've got a teammate when you're tackling this program.
Yeah, for sure.
So you might want to exchange telephone numbers in the chat or something. Good morning, Shiloh. Good to see you, big dog. Mr. and Xavier, do you have any success stories or challenges or questions about anything that you've encountered since we last spoke?
At the moment, I don't. I've actually only ran one true call since last Tuesday. I've had a few installs that I've done because we do sail and install. And then I actually went to the beach for a little bit on Thursday and Friday. So I've only ever had one call, and that call did 6,300 that we installed that day.
Beautiful. What was that for?
So it was for a few things. It was a repeat client that we upgraded a lot of her safety in her home. So we added a lot of arc fault breakers, ground fault breakers, added an outlet for a sump pump because her home flooded. So she's getting a sump pump installed. She needed electricity for that, and a few other minor lifestyle choices that she wanted upgrades on throughout her home. And
give me an example of a lifestyle choice.
So she wanted cameras. So she actually bought a Ring camera that she wanted to replace with one of her exterior lights. We added a few smart switches throughout her home. So it's a few things like that, but majority of the other things were safety and then have to do with that sump pump.
What did you quote that she did not buy?
So with that being a repeat visit, I actually tracked back on some of the things that she did not buy last time. One of the big things I picked up on was with her AC breaker. It was oversized for the unit and the wiring. So she bought my entire list when I was there on the most recent visit, but I went back and tacked on a few things, brought them back up. I was like, hey, do you remember us talking about this and why we talked about it? And she was like, no, not really. I was like, well, let me just remind you why this needs to be addressed. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay. Do that today too. So she didn't buy everything the first time. I went back, looked at the notes, and just tacked on that. And I managed to get that extra little nugget on that previous call.
It's called nibbling.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Quick question. Establish a need for the breaker for me. The AC breaker was oversized. People spend money 10 times faster to escape pain than to experience pleasure. Establish a need for that. Show me how you would do it. Show everybody.
So,
And
were
just
you
jump
aware?
into the role play with me. I'll be her.
Okay. So, were you aware that your AC breaker is not actually sized appropriately?
Mm-mm.
So, you didn't know that when that breaker it's not sized right, you can actually send too many amps, which amps can cause heat, to your unit outside. Do you know what this can do when you send too much heat to that unit that's outside?
No.
So when you send too much heat, it could potentially cause damage to that unit that's out there. Would it be fair to say that you want to protect an investment like your AC conditioner with something as simple as changing out a breaker instead of changing out your entire AC unit?
That makes sense.
And you would like for me to take care of that for you today?
Look at you. And you want me to take care of that for you. So a couple of words that we want to eliminate or change.
Okay.
Do you think that the average consumer knows what an amp is?
No, that's why I said amps produce heat. What happens when you
I
send too
love
much heat
that.
to something?
I love that. And we're just going to change the word from amps to electricity.
Okay.
Because everybody, they don't understand how electricity works, but they get the definition, right? But did you guys see how he transferred it to heat? Let's kind of rewind a little bit. Were you aware that heat is what destroys most machines? Right? Something like that.
Okay.
Does it make sense that if your compressor gets too hot, that it can cause a failure? Have you ever purchased a new compressor before? So you weren't aware that a new compressor could cost you $5,000 to $7,000. Can you see now why all of our clients make sure that their breaker sizes are correct? That was a trial close. Can you see now why our clients, boom, bring in herd and pack mentality, make them feel safe, and then chances are pretty good that we're gonna move forward. And then the word potentially. It could potentially cause this. It could potentially cause that. Just get rid of the word potentially. It can cause.
Okay.
Right? Potentially makes it more speculative. Like it happens a whole lot less. Cool?
Cool. Thank you.
And then when you're bringing up stuff that has not been purchased in the past, one of the things I love to do is just ask them, not even do you remember, go, hey, I see here in the notes that last time we were here that Xavier had talked to you about a surge protector. Would you mind sharing with me why you chose not to do that? What do you think the reason is?
Money.
Yeah, or they didn't establish a need for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's bottom line. So, hey, Dana, are you still here and good?
I'm here.
Could you take over for me for about 5 to 10 minutes?
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Okay, so Xavier, Bryan, you guys have been talking to Gene for a minute here. Let's give somebody else a chance, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We got Shiloh Gill and we have Anthony Drummond. You guys got any success stories or failures that you'd like to go over for the last week?
I'll go over some stuff.
Yeah, let's hear it, man. What do you got? How was your last week?
Complete flops, my dude.
Okay. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, yesterday I had pretty much 3 travels. First one was that their dad had passed away. They have been remodeling the house since February, and they needed some electrical work done, and they were tired of calling hack contractors, so they call legitimate contractors. I gave them legitimate prices, and they're like, "Oh no, that's too much. We're gonna call some other guys." So tried price conditioning them right at the beginning. They used chat to say how much the price should cost.
How did you price condition them?
Yeah, so I was I was asking them, well, because they had previous like painters and stuff in there, and I said, well, have you ever had electrical work done before? And they're like, yeah, we have. We use this one electrician, but we really like him, but he can't make it out here soon enough. So there was a time constraint, and I was like, well, because they had a laundry list of things, so it's kind of hard to pin down. I said, look, with these items, I've seen customers spend as much as $15,000, and they're like, oh no. So I kind of already got a feel there, and I said, but I've also seen them spend as little, a few hundred. I said most of our customers just they use our easy payment plan, and but later on, she told me, she said, well, I already checked online, and it said that was just 100, like $75, $100 per plug, and we were at like $300. That was a little bit different scenario there.
Mm-hmm.
And but at that point, we just kind of lost it. When I gave our pricing, they were very like
So when they
standoffish.
gave you their response, like, oh, ChatGPT says that I should be paying $75 per plug, I want to know exactly what your response was. Did you just kind of choke out, or like what
No,
did you say?
well, I said I said, are you aware how they get those prices, Deborah? And she said no. I said, okay, so they get those prices from the most visited websites. And what are the most visited websites? And she said, well, actually, I don't know. I said, would it make sense that the most visited websites are the ones that have been online for the longest period of time? So that means we're getting information that is old and not updated. And I said, and are the prices going to be different in California than they are going to be here? And she said, yeah. So I was kind of helping her think through that. And by the end, they were very like almost apologetic that they weren't using us. But they had a preferred electrician that they're like, oh, we'll just wait for him to come out here, you know.
So I don't know. I mean, your response kind of confused me a little bit. I can only imagine like how the homeowner felt, and a confused mind is always going to say no. The way that I would have went
Sure.
about it is, I mean, you could have gone into features and benefits, right? But if you don't know the features and benefits, then you got to do something else, right? So, I'll give you an example. I I had a client where I installed like 10 hose bibs. I think it was like right after I started in this training, and I had heard Gene say this, and I just thought it was the craziest thing, but I was like, screw it, I got nothing to lose. So I was quoting this guy like $250 per hose bib. And the guy was like, dude, that's freaking outrageous. Like I know that these hose bibs only cost you like maybe $20 each. And Brittany just said it in the comments, but I told him, I was like, actually, the thing is, I didn't argue with him. I validated what he said. And I said, actually, I pay a little bit cheaper than that. And you should have seen the guy's face when I said that to him. But what I did there was I didn't argue with him. I validated his
Mm-hmm.
feelings and I made him right. And don't you think that people like to be right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I was honest with him. I told him that he was right, that is how much the parts cost and this is how much the job is going to be. And I actually got that job. Another way that you could have went about it if you don't know the features and benefits, and I use this quite often, and I'm actually pretty proud of this last one. I just used it on Thursday. There's a photo of an iceberg that Gene will show you from time to time, and it pretty much goes like what the customer sees.
Hey,
Basically,
Angel, could you please pull up the photo of the iceberg for when Dana's done? Pretty please. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a photo of an iceberg, and pretty much what the iceberg is the tip of the iceberg. It's what the customer sees, right? Which is material and labor. And then it's everything else on the bottom of the iceberg that's in the ocean that they don't see, and it's like all the health insurance and the workers' comp and the fuel and all that. And there's a huge laundry list of things that people. I mean, even us as technicians, if you're not a part of the business, don't really comprehend
Mm-hmm.
what all goes into it. So I had this customer. I posted it in the group. I don't know if you pay attention to the Facebook group, but I had sold these two toilets for 15 grand. They cost us like $1,500 per toilet. And
Yep.
long story short, I got the sale, and the customer calls me back the next day, and he's like, "Hey, Dana, like I think there's a discrepancy in our pricing." And I was like, "Well, how do you figure?" He goes, "Well, I looked up those toilets. I got the model number off your invoice, and I looked them up, and those toilets, Dana, they only cost like $1,500." And I was like, "Yeah, no, you're not wrong." And he was like, "Well, can you charge me like 4 grand per toilet? I mean, they only cost you $1,500 plus." He's like, "Can you just mark them up like times two? Like, why do you guys charge so much?" And I just had to explain to him, because this is a very technical guy. I mean, he wanted to know like everything about these toilets for the gallons per minute from the flush. He wanted the spec sheets. Like, so I just knew I had to get super technical with this guy. I showed him the photo of that iceberg. Is it up yet? Can you guys see it?
No.
I didn't. I was over the phone with him, so this is kind of a super nice little hack that when you're on the phone with somebody, I mean, you can say whatever you want. So anyways, I showed him the photo of that. I explained him that iceberg, and he was like, "You know what? I definitely see it. I understand. I still hadn't quite closed them." But what he said to me was, "But you know what? It's a little bit out of my budget." And I questioned him. His man had a little bit, and I was like, "To be fair, it's not out of your budget, because do you remember when you told me that you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to remodel your house and that this was chump change?" And he laughs. He goes, "You know what? You know what? You're right. This isn't out of my budget. I can't afford this." He goes, "Okay. So let's just go ahead and get it done." So you got to have something. I mean, again, if you don't know the features and benefits, if you don't have them memorized, like you got to have something, man. You can't just choke out. And I'm not necessarily saying that you didn't, but what you said kind of confused me. And I can only imagine what the homeowner felt, because I'm a plumber, right? I'm a contractor. So like I should understand these things. And I didn't understand what you said, dude. So
Sure.
just a little bit
Hey,
of a different way to go about it. That's all.
yeah. To be fair, I don't understand a lot of things that I say too, so we're on the same boat there, man. No, but you're right, and here's and I would like to hear what you guys how you would respond to this, because you do get, like, as a tech and you're in the business, you see the struggles that your boss goes through, and and I've been pretty involved, right, the growth of this, and so I understand all of this, but he's like, well, we're just paying, this is just paying your guys' overhead. So how would, when someone does bring that up, could you guys expand a little bit on that, of explaining the overhead, where the customer is just saying, well, we're just paying your overhead, how
So
do
if
you
you
guys work through that?
I mean, it's literally the cost of doing business. Like, we could not be doing this service for you if we didn't charge X amount. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't argue with them. I would just tell them. I would say yes. I would be very upfront with them. Angel, can you post that picture up of the iceberg just so I could show him?
Yeah, can you share
Sure.
screen, please?
I usually
Let's
jump to two things on that. One being, that's how we're able to offer you this 24-hour service guarantee, because we have a lot of trucks on the road, and
Yeah, I mean,
trucks
you
don't
could
run
definitely get
for
into that.
free.
You could explain to him like, look, when you call, like, don't you like that we pick up the phone within one ring and you speak to Hana, my sister, you love speaking to her over the phone, and you love that we have an account that you can call directly, and when you have any issues, you can speak to our general manager, and when you need service, we're there within an hour, and like you like doing business with us, right? Well, this is what it costs to offer all those services. It's pretty crazy if you look over this iceberg. Like it really, like, there's so many things that you don't even really consider, but it's all there, and you really
Yeah,
do pay for all this as a business owner. I don't know if you can see that, Shiloh. You'll probably have
yeah,
to zoom in, but there's 401k, and you could even. There was one time Gene said, like, is it okay if I have health insurance? Is it okay if I have a little bit of vacation pay or maybe a 401k? Like, you could get like that, because obviously you deserve those rights, correct? So I mean, 401k, health insurance, holiday pay, sick pay, vacation pay, liability, employees incentives, employee pay, management, office staff, receptionist, technician pay, unemployment, workers comp, truck insurance, and then for the tool supply, shop tools, uniforms, security system, inventory, mobile phones, patches, fax machines, like all these different laundry lists of things that they don't even realize. Like, damn, that stuff really does cost money. So you know, when you have a $200 part and then the customer wants to pay $300, I mean, how the hell is that even possible? It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can't operate a business like that. It'll quite literally cost us money to be in business at that point. So, just a different way to go about it.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's very helpful.
I don't know if you looked at it
Angel,
or
where
not.
does this live? Does it live in the files section in the Facebook group?
Everything is inside the Mastermind. You can see it in the featured section here on top. You just scan everything that we talk about here. I just pinned them, so you can just search here.
Could you please zoom in on that picture for us to just the stuff? Well, in a second, let's just put the picture back up.
I took a
Okay,
screenshot of it. I'm gonna pull that out in front of the
I can text it to you, Brian, if you want.
Okay, yeah, that would work.
It's quite literally
I'm not
in
sure.
the files section. What's it called, Angel?
The iceberg.
Okay.
You can search it as the iceberg.
Brian, I just tagged you. That should help.
Okay, thanks. Gene, did we ever get the new version of that rolled out?
Of what?
Of the whole Facebook thing? I was
That-
going to be the test dummy, I believe.
That would be my team that can answer that for you, Priyanka and Angel. We're talking about the new kind of layout that Amber had created.
Yeah.
Where are we at on that team?
Brian, Amber was sent a tracker to look around as well. So we are going to implement it all in one go and roll it
Okay.
out. Yeah. So we are just waiting on, we have our team meeting tomorrow. We will be doing a follow-up and then we will schedule a meeting and let you know.
Cool.
What was I going to say?
About the iceberg.
Yeah. I would love to see that up on the screen again. So, Angel, please pull that back up on the screen again. Earlier, when I was going over Xavier, I'm not sure which one it is. Can you confirm that for me? Is it Xavier or Xavier?
People ask me that all the time, and for me, it does not make a difference.
What do you say?
Xavier, but people call me all sorts of things. My family calls me Xavier, and it's all the same to me. I don't have a preference.
Okay, cool. So on this page, can you see what part of the iceberg is above the water, guys? When I go over this with a client, I'll go, hiring a heating and air conditioning company, plumbing company, whatever it is, sorry, I'm getting a reverb. Hang on. Check. Yeah, it's still coming through. When you hire a heating and air conditioning company, it's kind of like an iceberg. All you get to see is what's above the water. You get to see the technician, the time, and the parts that we put in. That's really only about 20% of the business. What you can't see is beneath the water, and that's this stuff right here. And then go ahead and zoom in on and what our pricing has to cover, please, Angel. So I'm trying to turn off. I'm getting like a second voice. I can't shut it off for some reason. All right, and then go ahead and zoom in, guys. You can see all of these different things. This is really overhead. So all you do is just go through with people and go, look, these are the things that you don't see that we have to pay for in order to run a business where people actually want to work here and show up to fix your system. I'm not going to take a ton of time to go over this stuff, guys, but you want to print this out, maybe put it in a clear, what do you call those in a 3-ring binder, those little clear sleeves, or have it laminated and put it in your clipboard so that you've got it to break it out whenever you want. And then after all of these little things, down at the bottom, we get this little teeny tiny profit. And our goal is to, and we don't always hit it, but our goal is to achieve a 15 to 20% net profit. Is that an unreasonable profit for us to expect? Right? And usually they'll say no. And a lot of times that will end the conversation. Okay. You can stop sharing this, Angel. Earlier, when I was sharing with you, when people have had stuff quoted to them before and did not purchase it, I love to ask them, why didn't you get XYZ? And what do you think I'm trying to get out of them when I ask that question? What objection am I trying to get?
The real one.
Which is usually what?
Price.
Yeah, it's usually price, or there was no need established. And a lot of times I'll find that they don't even remember what was quoted. If they don't remember what was quoted, then what do I feel like the problem was?
You didn't get into it enough. You didn't explain it or go through the benefits of it enough.
We
Establish a need.
We didn't handle step 1 of the 5-step sales processes, which is what, Bryan?
Establish a need.
For what?
For everything on your list.
And we do this by?
Taking statements and turning them into 6 thought-provoking questions.
What are those?
Did you know? Were you aware? So you didn't know, so you weren't aware. Do you suppose? And
it's like an R. Kelly song where he's flying.
Yeah, that last one trips me up every time.
Starts with a B, ends with a leave.
Oh, would you believe?
Yes. What is the purpose of this step, and why does it work?
The purpose of this is to get the customer to come to their own conclusions, and
that what?
That they need this.
That what? Something?
That something needs to be done.
Yes. And it works because?
It works because it gets the customer to come to their own conclusion. So
very close. So that's the purpose.
In a minute.
The purpose is to get the client to come to their own conclusion that something needs to be done. That is all.
Yeah.
And it works because it gets them what?
Involved.
Feeling.
It gets them feeling like, man, you called me out today, Gene. I wasn't ready for this.
Xavier, help him out.
Yeah, I know you got this, X.
It makes them uncomfortable with how things are now.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. When they are uncomfortable, what do they want to do? They want to move what? Toward that or away from it?
Toward comfort.
Away from it. They want to move away from pain to experience pleasure. Okay? So going back to the why didn't you get XYZ, the other thing that's super, super important here, how many of you follow Jeremy Minor? Anybody? Okay, so Bryan, you do. Shiloh, you do. What is Jeremy Minor known for? Starts with a T.
Starts with a T?
Yep.
So I know that he's all about the NEPQ.
It's about the questions, but the questions
tonality.
Are nothing without their yes, tonality. He's all about tonality. And I don't know if you recognized it when I asked earlier, Mr. Baker, would you mind sharing with me why when Bryan was here, you chose not to get the surge protection? It's a curious tone. Yeah. Right? Not an accusatory tone or your stupid tone. And this is what we get wrong a lot of times. Listen to the difference. Mr. Dykman, why didn't you get the surge protector when Xavier was here? It's not a curious tone.
You didn't know how to pitch it right.
Yeah. That's not a curious tone, right? That's almost a tone that'll piss somebody off.
Yeah.
So this is why it's so important for us to get the words down first inside of these presentations. And then we work on the tonality. Guys, in the beginning, when you're going through level 1 through 5, you're just getting the words down. It's when we have our final exam together, that special 90 minutes that you and I get to spend together, where I'm going to start to help you work on that tone and that inflection. And Dana's not here anymore, but he'll tell you, if you talk to him, that was one of the most impactful experiences for him of his life in sales. Is getting to have that conversation one-on-one and work on that tonality and really fine-tune and polish the shit that you don't see until we get to that stage. So I'm super, super excited for you guys that are taking it serious and really, truly moving towards getting your certifications. And Shiloh, I'm going to call you out right now, dog. It is time for you to get certified, homie. All right. I know that you've had some great success with the program, and there's more there for you that I want to give you. Okay. So please recommit yourself and let's really get serious about this. Okay. Guys, it's been fun hanging out with you today. Got to land the plane, go out there and crush the day. All right. Everybody trusts me. Everybody buys from me 30 times before you go into every single call. Let's get yourself brainwashed that everybody trusts you and everybody buys from you, and watch what happens. Look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Go out and crush the day. Love you guys. Peace.
See ya.